and he takes, back his dart, and we jack the caravan. We put the old salty caravan salesman douchebag in one of the trunks that we get off from these, because we're dumping these people's stuff out to the side. And they have a big trunk in there. We opened up the trunk, and it's just like a bunch of clothes and shit in there. We dump out the clothes, and we stuff him in this trunk, and we put the trunk in his office. And Death Spear over here has like sage or something like that he brought. I didn't even know you could have. It's like incense and sage that he has. Um, and so he takes his incense out and everything, and uh, he finds a like an ashtray that this dude has in his office for cigarettes, clearly. And he lights the incense and puts them in the ashtray, so that the smell doesn't attract anybody, and if they're gonna look for him and stuff, we put the trunk just in his office, like it should be there, you know. Um, and so he lit incense so that the smell wouldn't initially get to anybody who's actually looking for him, and then we took off, and we had to pass an inspection at the end of the what was it? I think it was the north side of town, going into the thicket of the woods, and we did all that, and then we got ambushed by our caravan did get ambushed by a group of bandits, and we killed them pretty fast. We took care of them, like real ninjas. There was even a half ogre that came out with it was a war axe, and this is the first time he used his ninja stars, where he could throw three at once. And so what happens is we get done like killing all these people, like four of them crowd around, and there's a fifth little scraggly guy up in front, and basically they tell us to exit the caravan because they think we're being escorted, me and Selena. And so basically what they see is fat chick and dude who looks like he has leprosy in the back, and Han and Snapping Turtle up front, or sorry, Death Spear and Snapping Turtle up front. And Selena pretends to, cooperate or whatever because they're going to rob us. And she goes over and she acts real timid and stuff. And he's like, just go by my partner there, the bandit. He's like, just go over by my partner here, Frankie, and he'll take care of you, Misty. You stand right by him, and Frankie gives her a creepy little wave, and he's not paying attention to her because she just looks like any regular old commoner. And she, of course, uses this to slit Frankie's throat. And, I throw a smoke bomb in the dude who's asking me to get out of the caravan's face. And by this point, Snapping Turtle has already jumped one guy on the side over here with his Kama. And, Death Spear over here, Terry, he's all like, I'm going to do a flip around this guy, and then I'm going to spear him from behind. And he does. He gets the roll, and he spears the guy from behind, but the guy's still alive, and he's taking out a knife to try and, like, throw it at him, and at that close of a range. Like, once he's extended out his arm, and I explained this in character to Han when he asks, why did you intervene in my fight? And then it's just like, look, once he extended his arm, it's not that short of a distance, and with the velocity that he's going to throw it at you because he's doing it to save his life, it's not going to be that much of a distance between that and your face, even with the length of your spear. You know, there's not a whole lot of chance you were going to be able to dodge it. So what I did was, when I saw him taking out his throwing knife, the guy who's impaled at the end of Han's spear, I decided to throw a smoke uh, pellet, a smoke bomb, in the dude who's telling me to get out of the caravan in the back, right in his face. And, with the other guy behind him, Frankie, taken care of, Selena could get to him if I couldn't. And then with my other hand free, because right at this point I'm not doing anything other than I believe I used some of what was left in the caravan, some of what we didn't throw out, to try and stitch back together the piece of my cloak that got cut. And I believe I was actually sewing my cloak when we ran into trouble. And so I used my other hand that's free to throw a kunai at the other guy, and sure enough, I hit him right in the eye, kill him, and then I'm like, okay, well, is he still stunned and stuff? And Terry's like, yeah, no, he's coughing up a real storm and stuff. I mean, the smoke is pretty much cleared, at this point, because it's just, it's, small little smoke bomb pellet, but he's still choking on it. I'm like, okay, I use this time to pick up my bow staff and have it mystically turn into the bow, and then I'm going to use quick draw. So that was one of the things that I had gotten for my character. I'm going to use quick draw to quickly, do that, flip my bow to the other side of my hand while I'm, sitting down in this caravan, and I'm going to, command it to change, and then I'm going to use, the action of quick draw to flick an arrow, right into his head, and sure enough, get him right in between the eyes. Everything goes smoothly and stuff, and then, of course, the orc comes out, and Death Spear over here, he starts by throwing his spear at the orc, which causes the orc to smack it away with his war axe. And when he does, Han flings his triple ninja star attack right at the half orc. I think I said ogre at one point, so that's my bad. But right at the half orc, catches him off by surprise, and here we go. 3 sets of 3. Just one right after the other, Initial impact, the surprise of each impact, and, of course, the poison in which it's going to deal for each one. He had already had this planned out. Sure enough, and he rolls really good. He rolls a 20, for, overall, initiative to throw, as far as, him throwing it and his accuracy and everything. And one goes into the, half orc's eyes, and half orc's eye, and then the other 2 go right into the half orc's head. And I shit you not, all it took was one throw, and the thing just falls right over and dies. But by the time he was done counting it all up, the orc was dead, you know. And so then we catch the little Weasley dude who threw the trap on us in general, and um, well, basically, the snapping turtle throws his comma into the little Weasley dude's back while he's running away. And he basically he pulls out his comma again, and the dude's kind of bleeding to death because you get hit in the back with a comma, you're going down, and removing said comma once it's like firmly buried in your back, pretty much you're gonna bleed out to death. And he's like, if you want to be saved, you would better tell me, and don't lie to me because I'll fucking know. And he tells him, the way to their camp and stuff. And he's like, can I roll to see, if I have enough intelligence to know, if he's telling the truth or whatever. And he rolls, and he gets a pretty good roll. And he's like, yeah, no, it seems like, he's pretty scared and fearful for his life, and it seems like he's telling you the truth. And he's like, great. And he's like, I bury my comma into the back of the dude's head. Like, what the fuck? And he's like, ninja assassin, okay? We didn't complain when you killed, the caravan owner. I'm like, okay. I mean, technically I didn't kill him, but I did engage in battle. But, whatever. Okay, fine. It's going to be one of those campaigns. No morals attached, really, because, we're ninja assassins. Like, who gives a fuck about morals, right? And, we're all kind of neutral because, the premise of good and evil, that really doesn't affect us. We're ninjas doing a job. We're there to assassinate people by the order of, our shinobi. And so basically, we find our way there, and this is the second thing that Terry just kind of screwed us on. And basically, it's a tunnel that leads down into a little ravine sort of area. And there's a waterfall coming down and stuff, and there's a clearing up top, and there's only one way down, which is the stairway that these bandits have built that goes down to the bottom. Nowhere to sneak, nowhere to do our ninja thing, and there's like 11 people. I mean, there's 4 dudes around the campfire there. There's another guy off to the side with a separate little fire going, cooking a stew. There's 2 other guys talking to Grandolph Lundgren, who is in a stagecoach of his own, sitting on the side. And we find out later that there are, we can see the legs of 2 females, but we find out later that these 2 like naked chicks that Grandolph Lundgren has in his camper. They come out. One's wielding, when the fight starts. One wielding a scimitar and one wielding a claymore. I roll shit again, and I am like struggling behind. I mean, I roll hella poorly. To the point where everybody's darting for this place, and I roll bad. So everybody kind of makes it there before me, and I've got to take one turn over because I rolled so poorly. I didn't, I'm the slow one of the group, right? And they all get there, and they decide they're gonna open up their attack, right? Because the way he made it, it's just like there's not really a whole lot of approach